So very excited about this fellowship that we've spent most of this year putting together, trying to find a suitable location and partner in China that will provide the further study opportunities that we've been looking for. The purpose of the fellowships is threefold. We want to give Australian graduates who are invested in China-related studies an opportunity to deepen their understanding of China through their lived experience being there. And it's essential, China's going to be a big part of your future careers. You need to spend some time in country no matter what courses you've taken as part of your undergraduate degrees. We were aware that there's a lot of interest in spending time in China, furthering studies, strengthening language skills beyond graduation, but there are very few opportunities, very few funded opportunities for graduates to do so. Most of the current available funding from the Australian government, New Colombo Plan, short courses, etc. Some of you I'm aware of partaking of those opportunities, semester abroad programs, are funding for award, that is courses that are part of your degrees. There's very very few opportunities available for spending time in China beyond degrees or in between degrees. And so that's what an opportunity that we've created here. It's the program overall too is designed to help participants position themselves for China-focused careers. So whether or not you see your future as working for Australian government, private sector, or you still don't know, you're fascinated by China, and you want to do some postgraduate studies, but you're still not sure where that's going to take you. That's all fine. This is the program that we have designed for people like you. The structure of the program is pretty straightforward, but it's also really exciting because the partner university, which I'll tell you a bit more about in a moment, is a rare place where you can study China in China. And that's because the university was set up as an international university, partnership with Liverpool University in the UK, and it was designed, it has a China Studies department that was set up to service Liverpool University students, undergrad and postgrad, on exchange. COVID killed a lot of that, and it's still let's just say, in revival mode. But essentially they have a very strong international faculty, lots of courses and opportunities you can take, and they are eager for international participation. I visited the university and I'm very satisfied with the quality of the teaching and the quality of the offerings they have. So 2 semesters. You'll all be aware that their Northern Hemisphere academic year begins in September. So we've designed the program, fellowship, to run in our calendar year, which is fine. So essentially you'll be entering in their semester 2, which begins in February. I'll come back to dates later on the slides. And again, please don't worry about copying down any notes that are on these slides, because I'll share them. We'll put them up on the website, and we'll email them to everyone who's registered for this meeting today. The 2 semesters running from February through June, second semester running from September through January. Timing's not super convenient for the end of that second semester for people who might otherwise be planning to spend Christmas and New Year with family or loved ones at home. That's just not part of the Chinese calendar. So that is a sacrifice that you have to make in order to see the program through in January. But it will finish in mid-January, so we can get back home to catch up with friends and family, even if you've missed Christmas. The other part of the program, so we've got 2 semesters of essentially full-time equivalent study, half of which will be Chinese language. I'll come back to that in a minute, and half which will be electives. The summer program is a very long summer that they have in the Northern Hemisphere. China break, it's about 2.5 months. And so we were really keen to create opportunities for you to extend your knowledge of China during this period and to do something a bit different and interesting. And so you're going to have quite a few options available to you, and there'll also be time, depending on what you choose, to fit in some of your own travel. The semester-long program, 2-semester program, is built around Chinese language. So imagine a bit like ANU, they have a different credit system. We have 24 units you'll be familiar with as an ANU full-time equivalent. Theirs is 20. So it's 5s instead of 6s. So essentially what you'll do is 2 units of Chinese. So that would be the equivalent of 12 for them. And then 2 units, 2 elective units selected from among 30 courses that are offered by the China Studies program. There are undergraduate and master levels courses that you can take. Really that will depend on whether or not this is a topic that you've studied before. If you've studied that topic before, then you might be able to make a case to go into the master's level unit. If this is a new area for you, you should probably stick with the undergraduate offering. Yeah, huge number of offerings. You can check them all out yourself on the Shanghai Jiaotong Liverpool website. And the other possibility here, this is not something that we can promise, but if some of you are interested in graduate studies, you might be able to get some credit down the track for a master's program for some of these units that you did. Please be aware, however, that you'll be enrolled as non-award students, so you will not be doing these units as part of the degree. You'll be in the classroom and doing the work and the assignments like any other students, and most of the students, your classmates, will be degree program students at Shanghai Jiaotong Liverpool. Some of them will be Chinese domestic students, and some of them will be international students. So the program itself offers you an opportunity to take courses alongside Chinese students, but also to take those more specialized courses in English while you work on your Chinese in the rest of the time that you have there. During the summer, and this is, I think, really what makes this fellowship shine, even though there really aren't any competitive programs, you've got a whole bunch of opportunities that you can choose from, all of which you can decide and coordinate through the international office at Shanghai Jiaotong Liverpool University. When you first enroll there, you'll be appointed a mentor, I think they call it, which would be a member of the academic faculty. They will be able to offer you guidance as much as you need on your choices, your study pathways, including your options for the summer program. So if you're business industry minded, you can apply to undertake an internship in a Chinese enterprise. That will be a really awesome experience. Suzhou is a high-tech hub. Semi is a big part of China's semiconductor program. There are something like 300 companies in Suzhou alone that are part of the semiconductor supply chain. We also have a relationship with the Australian Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Shanghai. So if people are interested, we can help to make contact with Australian companies operating in the Shanghai Suzhou area. Suzhou, of course, being only an hour from Shanghai, and Shanghai being the airport, the international airport that you fly into when you visit Suzhou. There are university research fellowships you can undertake. This is a structured program within School of Humanities or the School of Business. You're working sometimes as part of a team or as part of a larger research project. That's a program called SURF. Again, you can find all of this information on our website. You can also take summer courses. You can enroll yourself in some additional Chinese language if that's your focus, if that's your priority. And for those of you who are really interested in further education, becoming teachers, maybe teaching Chinese, there's also an option for you to work as a teaching assistant and to get experience in a classroom in the Chinese language summer school. You can also do an independent research project supervised by a member of China Studies faculty who has expertise in your area of interest. And this would be something that I would probably recommend to those of you who aspire to more analytical careers in government or potentially academic careers. If you're interested in doing a PhD in the future, getting experience doing an independent research project is going to put you in good stead for that. But again, all of these options depend on your own personal interests, your own priorities, and there'll be plenty of people that can help you, offer you some advice in making those decisions once you are a member or fellow in the program. People here at ANU and on the Shenzhen Liverpool side. Living arrangements. I checked out the dorms when I was there in September. These are accurate photos. I didn't take the photos, but I can confirm that's what it looks like. They're pretty comfortable. The accommodation is owned by the local government, so the university helps you to organise that when you arrive. There are no guarantees of what type of accommodation will be available. There's a couple of different buildings for international students. Some are apartments with bedrooms down a corridor, like a single apartment with bedrooms and a shared living room. Each room you have will at least have its own toilet shower. They'll be small, but there are plenty of communal areas. And some are more traditional dorms, rooms along a hallway with with an ensuite. You will have cooking facilities. They might not be on the same level. Mostly they will be, but from what I could see there, most students were eating in the cafeteria, once a week or so, maybe one cook a pasta or something, that you're nostalgic for from home. But the food options are really good. Cafeteria, Chinese universities' cafeterias, for those of you who studied in China will know, are heavily subsidized. Food is good and cheap, so that's all too easy. Lots of cafes around, including on campus, but just outside the campus door. There's a real hub of activity, gyms, sports clubs. You can keep yourself occupied for the whole term without ever leaving campus. But of course, you're going to want to get out and explore Suzhou, which is a really interesting place. It's an old canal city, a trading hub, once known as, during the colonial era as the Venice of the East. It's still it's a large city. It's not as big as Shanghai, but it's a population of several million. It's an hour by train from Shanghai. A little bit less busy, less traffic, also, cheaper cost of living compared to Shanghai. For those of you who've been on the East China Normal University program, you find if you go out and about, things cost a bit less, which is great when you're studying. Also, as I know, technology hub. The university is located in the Suzhou Industrial Park, which is a modern part of the city, about half an hour or so from downtown. But it's doesn't sound very appealing when you say industrial park, but the industrial park has companies, but it also has big residential areas, shopping districts, restaurants. So it really just feels like you're living in part of a modern city when you're out there. And Suzhou itself is now pretty well connected. You can get around easily on subway and DD cars. A lot of students that I talked to who were there to try to find out about their experience, which is all overwhelmingly positive, said, yeah, if they go downtown, I can get together with a couple of mates and share a DD, which are still really surprisingly cheap to get. to use for transport. What else? Just one more slide, key dates. We want your applications. We've got to move this along pretty quickly to get people there next year. I've had a lot of inquiries from folks who are still studying next year. Okay, so you're not eligible. You need to have graduated before you can participate in this program. You don't need to have just graduated. You might have graduated a couple of years ago. If you're doing something else, you're eligible. But again, this is for graduates only, not people who are currently enrolled in an undergrad program. If you're thinking about doing honours next year, you put that in your application, or masters. We are open, if it can be made to work, to connecting this fellowship with further study, but postgraduate study, of which honours is included. But it would almost certainly mean not doing that full time if you're enrolled in an Australian honours or postgraduate program. In order to weave the two together, you'd have to be enrolled in a part-time capacity, and but that's something that is still for us to see and for us to discuss with you as applicants. We're not quite sure. It's an idea that we're not quite sure how it will work, but we do see some potential for marrying this program with further study in Australia. And that, if people have questions about that, we can hear in just a moment. So application deadline, we're going to turn this around as quickly as possible, make offers, and we need to do that because there's enrolment procedures on the other side that we need to work with. We're going to send offers to the successful applicants, and we want you to turn that around and say, yes, for sure, I want to do this. And it's really important that you're committed to this. If that happens, it's not just, putting in this and other things and seeing what you're in the mood to do next year. This is a fully funded opportunity to spend a year in China, and it will be oversubscribed. This will be competitive. I know just from ANU that there are more people interested in doing this who've written to me than there are positions available. There will be 10 fellows going next year. I'm expecting about 15 applications from ANU, possibly more, and as many again from around Australia. This is a program, fellowship is open to all Australian graduates. I think because it's new, that and little known, despite our best efforts to disseminate the information, I think that ANU students will have be much more aware, and there will be arguably many more applications from ANU students, and not as much competition from around Australia as we can expect in future years once the program becomes better known. So let me stop there and invite. I should say just before I stop and invite questions, so start preparing questions either in the message chat or you can feel free. It's only a small group, they're only 12 this year, so people should feel free to put their hand up and ask directly. On funding, so it'll be a fully funded program. CIW will pay for your tuition, will pay for your flights, and accommodation. It will also offer a small stipend to cover some basic living expenses, but that will be a modest stipend. We still haven't worked out the precise amount, but it'll be enough for you to feed yourselves, feed and clothe yourselves for the time that you're there. If you like to travel a lot, go to Shanghai on weekends, and you like cocktail and jazz bars, that's great, but you probably need to dip into some of your own funds in order to support those types of activities. There's one other thing I should mention too. The university organises a lot of excursions, optional excursions, and they are subsidised by the university. So the stipend can also be used towards that. There's a heap of activities trips to visit factories, trips to visit new rural development projects and to understand how they work, all kinds of things, including art, culture, activity. You can sign up for all through the year, and they are generally really, really cheap. So that's another great opportunity.